it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and that's what's most important in life, I think, is the relationships you have with the people closest to you. So it's really important. But it's nice to have some sort of, fulfillment in your work, some sort of big purpose that you're leading towards. But yeah, I'm a big advocate of focusing on interpersonal relationships. I wanted to ask you for a personal piece of advice as we're getting to the end here. Since you're involved in all these businesses that are working on, as we described, what do we call them, BFPs, or I call them grave problems. How do you seem like a very positive person, which I love, and that's usually how I project myself to others, and how I'm always trying to look at the bright side of everything. But when I dive into the weeds of these issues, it can get very overwhelming. So I wanted to ask you how to keep a positive outlook when you're considering these problems almost on a daily basis, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, you call them grave problems. Jim Collins calls them big, hairy problems or whatever, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you stay out of the weeds? How do I not go to bed stressed out that a company's about to run out of cash in 2 months and about to have to lay off half their workforce? It's a challenge, man. Like it's really hard. I have to set. There's only so much I can do, right? And there are other important aspects of my life. So I've got my family. I'm a big biker and fly fisherman. So like being outside and connected to nature is like critically important. I have like three pillars of like my work, my time outside, and my family. And when they're all in balance is when I'm most in balance. So I am of service to no one if I'm at like in a ball word that the world is like, moving towards collapse, right?
Okay.
Like I don't think that that's the case. I think we'll get to a place where humans are operating as a, either net positive or even regenerative to nature. What I worry about is what we've done to the world before that, to get to that point. But humans are also super adaptable. We have there's a concept of hedonic treadmill, which essentially is if you won the lottery and started flying private, you'd get used to that really quick. If you got in trouble somehow and ended up in prison, you'd actually get used to your prison cell pretty quick. So humans are super adaptable, which is like good and possibly how we've become the predominant species here.
Sure.
But it's also bad as it relates to environmental degradation. We'll get used to our container of like a world that's more degraded than it used to be. 1970 being like we've got 30% of our species lost, right?
Yeah.
So I worry about those things, but what I get up and do my work is because I like to be surrounded. We talked about this earlier. I like to be around people that inspire me, around ideas that inspire me, that are people that are willing to fail, that are willing to experiment, that see failure as like a learning opportunity that you can shift that and apply that somewhere else. So I get my energy from that. I'm certainly nervous about the world of what 50 years will look like.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for me. It's not worth worrying about, like on the day to day, because it would keep me from doing the work of moving forward. So like recognizing that I want the world to be a better place, to be a cleaner place, to where humans are operating in harmony with nature and the different systems in which we build. But that's kind of my North Star. But I can't let it just cripple me on all the other things that are happening at the moment. I can focus on what's in front of me, and do that. And that's work for me because it's easy to fall into, I don't know if pessimism is the right word, but it's easy to fall into that if you let yourself. And a lot of environmentalists and a lot of activists, they've moved in that. And then, their work is, it's not pushing forward on that world in which they were hoping to develop at first. So I don't know if that's an answer for you, but
it is an answer, man. I mean, it's as simple as you either get busy living or get busy dying. So you got to keep going. You got to keep moving forward. And honestly, like you said, it is a challenge, but if it wasn't, as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you can appreciate this. If it wasn't a challenge, it wouldn't be fun, would it?
Well, I mean, like that's the beauty of challenges is like entrepreneurs don't look at challenges. They look at challenges as opportunities.
Absolutely.
So the folks who I don't probably even need to say more than that. Like, but a lot of what the world looks at is like, this is terrible. Entrepreneurs see, a model. They see an opportunity. They see a possibility of addressing that. And those are the kind of people I like working with. And it's a joy to get to do so.